Hey, shalom, good morning. Sister Kate here is Palmetto Paratrooper. I have a wine bottle for you. I know you said it's hard to find wine bottles. I'm sure you've figured out where to get more. Um, but I've saved one, and there's the Greek Homestead. Shalom, shalom. Hey, Mad Count. Good morning, sir. Good to see y'all. The Greek Homestead. She She's actually Greek. She's in Greece. She sent me a photo recently. She's trying to get into ham radio, and I'm not an expert. So if either one of you guys know anything about ham, and if she wants to ask some questions here on the live, I think that would be a really good thing to do. Shalom, trying and doing, and thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. I'm good on wine bottles now. The brother gave me dozens of them. Excellent. We used to keep a trash can here with a whole bunch of them, and then eventually, because we weren't really using them yet, we threw them away. But I'm glad that you're there. Um, Also, I have obviously I did a video on wine, but brother Mike, the Borg Works on Instagram, was posting pictures of the wild grapes that he I guess it's on their property, maybe not somebody else's property, but they got to gather some grapes, and he's just so excited about them. He's like, praise Yah for his increase. And this is the time they're ripe, at least in our area. And I gathered, the last bunch, last night. And so I have my 2 bags of wild grapes in my fridge, and I am going to try to make wine. It should be ready by Sukkot. But if not, I have that cask of blackberry wine that I did last year that had to stay in the cask a year. Good morning, Serenity Haven Homestead. Had to stay in the cask a year. And so I'm gonna open that up for this Sukkot. Hopefully it's good wine. I did over what do you call it? You ferment the grapes for just a day, or blackberries for just a day with that recipe, and I ended up fermenting them for like 10 days because the cask had to be washed in hot water and let it sit there for a while and drain it out and rinse it, and it took longer. But I'm really curious. It's either going to be a really nice blackberry wine, aged in an oak barrel, or it's going to be a very nice vinegar. So hey, there's Tim back. Shalom, brother. Let me look at, hey, Mrs. Lovely Dudley. I found wild blueberries on my property, but only a couple of plants so far. So are they definitely blueberries and not huckleberries? Because there are a lot of huckleberries in the area, and the plant and the fruit look very similar. And then, trying and doing. She's on here. Trying and doing is a new subscriber. She joined the channel, so she's financially supporting the channel, which I appreciate. But she's also a very experienced person. She's in her 70s, I think she said, and she makes some really good comments on some of the videos and has, experience from years and years of living, which is always interesting to me to read about people's stories. So let's see. There's Lost Light, shalom, and Christy B, shalom. Well, according to this picture, a huckleberry is a variety of blueberry, but yes, they're huckleberries. No, I mean, it's basically the same thing. Like, that's not me saying, ooh, blueberries are better, or whatever. No, they're basically the same thing, and we have a bunch of plants on our property, and reading up on them, it said they don't really need a lot of care, but I think the problem here is the trees are just too much. Like, they like shade, but they don't get enough sunlight possibly. So what I did was, after we finally identified them, I went and pruned a lot of the trees, because it said don't really prune them unless they have dead branches. And these ones had, some of them, half the tree was a dead branch. And I thought, wow, this plant has been supporting these dead branches for years and years. So hopefully next year we will get more blossoms, more fruit. And the fruit that we found on the bushes that helped us identify it was at the end of summer. It was not like an early summer berry. It was ripe near the end of summer. So like possibly now or maybe mid-July. I don't remember exactly. So Wes says, I'm going to make wine out of corn this time. Isn't that what whiskey is, brother? They're smiling. Mary, good morning, and thanks for supporting the channel. Our persimmons are starting to ripen. Persimmons, oh my gosh. I'd never had a persimmon before coming here. And the first time I tasted persimmon, I did a video about it. Amazing flavor, amazing flavor. And I made persimmon biscotti. I made that a couple of times, and man, was that delicious. Ooh, I'm very happy for you, Christy B. So, I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to talk about this morning. I wanted to kind of catch up with y'all and find out, what's big in your world. Hey, Winter Night, shalom from Italy. Oh, man, I used to know phrases from Italy because we went to Italy. Oh, I know. What would hello be? Tell me what hello would be. Man. Prego. Prego is what, like thank you. And Winter Night, I like your comments. I like the fact that you're not in our country so that your point of view is different from ours. And I really like the fact that you're commenting and showing up on live. So thank you for being here. Yeah, the Greek Homestead said fires. That's what's big here because the island of Rhodes was on fire. The way I understand it, it's out now. Is that true? But 19,000 people evacuated and burning for a long time and so on. That's really, yeah. But Creek Homestead has been like, she puts photos up on her Instagram of cattle there and the landscape, and had some little bit of gardening, even though she didn't really garden because she broke her wrist earlier this year. She had, volunteer plants up. I would love to go to Greece. I would love to go. I just don't know when that would happen. So I'm gonna show you a new piece of equipment I bought for my phone because my videos are so shaky sometimes. Like I'm trying to hold the camera still, but my hands are not strong enough, and so I bought a gimbal. And I took a little video with it this morning, and I'm going to try to edit that. And, God bless, God abounds, peace and health to your house. Thanks, man. Be safe out there. Paratrooper, after 8 months of living on my new property, my back finally gave out. I've been down for 4 or 5 days. Lee Mentz, how can we support you? There's a button on the channel. I haven't talked about this in a while. It says join and it's blue, and then it's kind of like Patreon in that there's a couple of levels. And you're supposed to be getting benefits, like they make us describe the benefits you're going to get. And as some of the other channel members will attest to, I'm not the greatest at doing things like making special videos just for you guys, but I try. And then for the crew chiefs, which is the highest level, I'm writing a novel, and it's really slow because right now there are no crew chiefs. But what I was doing is I copy parts of the book to there. And then eventually when I get to the point where I'm not writing on it, like I'm waiting for inspiration or ideas, you're going to help me write it. You're going to give me ideas or directions to go in or plot twists or whatever. So that's your highest level. That's crew chief. But I think the lowest level is like $1.99, which was the lowest they would allow us to do. Like I hear my husband talk about it on Patreon, and he says, $1, what is it, $1 a month? That's, way cheaper than coffee costs you or whatever. Well, it's $1.99 a month. It's still cheaper than a cup of coffee. Prego is you are welcome. Ciao is good. There you go. There you go. Ciao. And sometimes, was this like the goodbye thing? Ciao. Ciao bene. I think that's bye, hello, but good, like Benny, good. Shalom. All right, let's see what else is going on. I've had bulging discs for a long time, put muscle spasms on top of it, and I became utterly useless. Oh, that's right. You said you've been down for 4 or 5 days. I occasionally do that here as well. I haven't done it in a while because I'm trying really hard not to do that. I went to a chiropractor in the area and he did an x-ray of my spine and he said something like, yeah, see this, you've got like a compressed disc or something right in here. You can see it's like a little bit off. And I'm like, all right, and he adjusted me and I went back for, maybe 6, 8 visits. Hey, UP Gardener or Up Gardener. And it eventually did get better, but I also had to have, and you can buy these at a regular pharmacy. They have back pads that have lidocaine in it, and lidocaine is it's how you put your mouth to sleep when you're having your teeth worked on. They inject lidocaine into your jaw. Well, these patches are lidocaine infused, and so when the time I had a really bad back problem, I used those and like Aleve. Aleve is a medicine, very good for back problems. I'm trying to remember if they'd given me anything else. I don't think they'd given me anything else. Yeah, it's a numbing agent. You do know, see me. You don't see me. Hello. and by resting, and you can't completely immobilize your back. I have found this out over the years. Like if you sprain your ankle, the old school idea was you rest it and elevate and ice it. That was a mantra created by a guy who was not a physician. He may have been a sports person or something. He wrote a book about it, but it's really not the most effective way with any of that. You have to, rest, ice, right. You actually have to keep moving. Oh, thanks, Westhold Forge. I don't have the best internet right now, but I hang out as long as I can. We need to meet up. I know we've said this before, but Pastor has something for you. He's got some hunk of metal he wants to give you, and I still need to get my book to you. Anyway, back to if you sprain your ankle, you actually heal so much better if you keep walking on it, which sounds crazy, but I did it the last time I twisted my ankle. And so with my back, I try to every day. The chiropractor told me roll your pelvis. So if you're laying on your back, you roll your pelvis upward, right, with your knees bent. And he said try to get it like just a few inches up and then down, but try to increase that as time goes by and get all the way up to your shoulder blades. Like get your pelvis up and then let it all down, because what it does is it lets stuff rests. So let's see. Yeah. I'm snapping asparagus beans and yard log beans while listening, trying to do the things. Excellent, Christy B. Yeah. So those are my suggestions. I do lots of stretching every day for my back. Me too, like sitting up in the bed and twisting and turning, and I like stretch my hamstrings and stuff like that. So what else was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about the grapes, and you were talking about huckleberries. Yes, pain does not always mean damage. Work through it. My doc said go running when your back hurts. I'm sure with the bulging discs, I don't know if running, he's probably not going to be able to run, but I would say if you can, because what they told me was keep your back straight. Don't bow it one way or the other. Like when I stood up, I had to have Pastor hold my hands, and I had to like use my thighs only to stand up. But going for a walk, I end up going for walks, and it doesn't feel better right away. And I hope your back does start to feel better. I don't know if you have a chiropractor in your area, but that chiropractor did help. But I also ended up going to the ER, and that's where I got the lidocaine patch first, and then at the pharmacy. Does not mean damage. It does depend on the injury. What else? Snapping the beans. Oh, Westhold Forge. A bunch of us have bad backs and we keep doing what we can. Stubborn or stupid, we can't stop doing stuff, which is absolutely right. Like, there's no way that you can be a homesteader and have the bad back thing take you out of it. There's just so much that has to be done every day. You've got to like do what you can and learn to do less. I mean, that's part of getting older, is learning to do less. So, whoop, let me get this. So just a little bit. The sun's coming around. Sun's coming around the mountains, putting a fuzz on my screen. So what else is happening in y'all's life? Are you guys, my back definitely hurt a lot less when I was in better shape. Right, and it's the musculature, you know, you've got tenderloins, and they help keep everything in line. And so when we do a lot of bending over, we're pulling on all of that. Like the weight of your head is 8 pounds, and you're putting it on the end of your, you know, your neck. And if you lean that over, it's making force, it's pulling, right, on your lower back. And so another thing I have to do is, instead of like bending over to pull up weeds, like the weeds I like to kill, I have to like squat and then do it. Okay. All right, I need to do something. The real challenge is being an old dude and trying to keep up with the young bucks. It is a challenge, and I don't recommend that you, I mean, you can try, but try with your wisdom too, and don't injure yourself if you can help it. Because I, you know, Pastor and I are still very active because our property and our life and what we enjoy, kind of, it demands it, but it also, like, that's what we like doing. I'm fooling myself. If I take a day off on my homestead and I don't go outside much, eventually I can't not go outside. I have to go outside. And then when I go outside, I'll say to myself something like, oh, I'm just going to go for a walk up the road or something like that. And I can't just do that. I have to go and start pulling up weeds or looking at things that I might need to harvest or checking on my animals. And so it's just all part of this life, which I think is a good thing. I think it's healthy for people to be out and active. I mean, stats are showing that sitting around all day long is really bad for you. You're compressing your veins, your heart and your kidneys and everything are not getting that fresh oxygen. Something else I noticed during hold up, the humidity of the air when you're inside and your air conditioning, your air is being dehumidified, and naturally out here there's humidity in the air. And so like my skin right now, still not very wrinkly, but if I go inside, I feel dehydrated, and I notice just like my nose is more irritated, my throat is more irritated, and I don't think it's great to be in that dehumidified air that's also recycled within the house with all the chemicals and the stuff in your house. When you're meant to be, you're formed to be, your lungs are designed to be outdoors in the stuff that's here. So I think it's good. There's Anthony Jensen. Good morning. Well, I got two work opportunities. One is way more money and one is 5 minutes from home. Lord willing, I get the one I need. Yes, sir, Lord willing. That would be awesome for you. I really hope that happens for you, brother. And slowing down while moving around, we still want to go fast and get things done. I find that when I try to go really fast, I end up doing something like falling, tripping. Yesterday, I was working down here with a young person who helps out, and the gravel, because it's so dry right now, is loose. And I started walking down the hill on that loose gravel, and sure as shooting, one of my feet went out for me, and I rolled again. Didn't hurt myself really. I don't even think I have a bruise, but it was all from going a little bit too fast. I should have slowed down and watched my footing. Nope, not doing that. That's right, Magkel. There's a point at which, and this young man who helps, I'm like, how about you do that thing? How about you nail that thing? How about you carry this heavy thing? Because he's got the strength and the agility and the energy of being, a young person, whereas I've got the older bones that have been through some things, and joints that have taken a beating over the years. And so I'm like, yeah, I know for a fact that if I try to do what you're doing, I'll be laid up. So welcome to being a little bit older, Palmetto. I've had severe back injuries since 9/94 until 2017, when it audibly popped on scene loading a patient in the ambulance. Still in therapy with pain and numbness in my legs and right side. Yeah, I'm wondering if there's going to be a moment. Just popping in to say hello and hit the thumbs up. Thanks, NWA Prepper. Thank you for supporting the channel, and be safe out there, brother. I hope you and your family all the best. I wish all the best for y'all. Pharma! Hey, sister, I caught you live. So Pharma, she has also gone by Soapy Acres Homestead, is a homesteading lady up in Canada, out in the woods. And she does all the things. She got the chickens and a garden, and she's a wonderful gardener. She makes wonderful baked stuff. She was, I don't know if you're still selling the soap, but she made homemade like goat milk soap. Just wonderful, wonderful product. Really, really quality stuff. So shalom to you, lady. There is Cat W. Why did you retract your message? Hit the like. Only 2 of us have. Thank you, Northwest Arkansas Prepper. You do no see me. Spent 2 hours in my garden last evening harvesting the bounty. Thank the Lord and plan on giving to some friends who cannot garden. The sore part is back. Yeah, the sore back is part of the deal at my age. One, I'm so glad you were able to do 2 hours of gardening. This summer has been so crazy. Our garden was neglected for most of the summer, and so the bugs just decimated so many things. I was able to, let me slow down. Man, I talk way too fast. Okay, I was able to freeze some tomatoes. I think 2-gallon bags of tomatoes to be used later. I was really looking forward to possibly canning, and it just didn't happen. And then, like, the cabbage plants yielded nothing. There were some peppers. We've eaten them. We've been eating the potatoes. The potatoes did pretty good. My kale, the bugs tore my kale up. It's coming back, and I'm hoping to keep it alive until fall, when it won't be attacked as much. And PJ and I have both decided we are going to spend the money and get some of that really heavy duty cloth to put down in the garden to keep the weeds down, because the black plastic works, but it doesn't last very long. And I think that weed cloth will do a better job over time. And then maybe put some kind of topping on it, like I may have to go to my other bench. Yeah, I think we're going to move to the other bench. Maybe put a topping on it, like gravel or something. All right, so let me maneuver this, get to my other bench. I have obstacles in the way. I have uneven ground here. Whoa, I know that's not a very flattering photo, you guys. Sorry. Looking at my chin. Okay. This is be a little bit better. It's a little bit better. A little bit different perspective there. There. So Something else I wanted to talk about, just because I'm excited about it, is the short videos I've done lately. And I know not all of them. I mean, some of them are for fun. Some of them were just for effect. I don't know if any of you have seen them yet. The one I really, really liked that started out as just a visit to a little creek with my grandkids was the one where the frothy water and then this fish just darts out and darts back in. And it can't be a trout. I mean, it's very trout-like, that behavior. It's some sort of blackfish in that area, but it impressed me. And so I took the video because the kids wanted their mom to be able to see it. She was at home with the baby. And I uploaded that. I put some music to it. I started it out on Instagram because, no, that's not true. I started it out on the shorts thing for YouTube. Their shorts option has gotten better. Just with like putting in text and putting music to it and things like that. And I think that first one was just the audio from the actual video. But I could cut it down to a short amount of time. Oh, no, that's not the first one. The first one is the one where the big the rotating, like, energy producing fan, the huge, you know what I'm talking about, they got the 3 arms on them. We were still on the trip out there going out west. And as we were coming into, I think it was Montana, the Rocky Mountains had been in the background. And this storm started rolling in off the mountains. And so what it did is it came in, it was like a fog bank. It obscured the mountains, and then it started to obscure all the land in front of it. And it was rolling towards us as we were moving towards our hotel. And in my mind, I thought, wow, it's almost like an invasion. It's almost like this movie called The Fog, where this fog just envelops everything. And in my mind, I was picturing it just dissolving everything. And we're racing to the hotel to try to get there, to get in our room and be safe. And so it was part of a longer bit of video, but I just wanted to capture the fog and the big fan. And so I did that, and then I got some music and I put it on there and I uploaded that. And I think it got 1,200 views, maybe 1,200 views on, what did I call it? After the Apocalypse, something like that. And I was really, I was really excited. Like 1,200 views, so much more views normally than some of my videos get. So I was encouraged. Then I took the one during the hold up thing about the fish, and I put some music to that. And it was late at night when I did it too. Made it small, tried to get just, a little bit of the froth in the fish and then the background, and uploaded that. And an hour later, I checked back on it just to see. An hour later, not very long. And it had 1,400 views in an hour, and I was astounded. I was astounded. That was just an amazing amount of response. And I texted Pastor, and I'm like, I just uploaded this short, and it's got 1,400 views. Is that possible? Like, I actually thought my phone was messing up. And so I'm getting to a point. How do I donate more than $1.99? Lee, it's actually joining, and so there's 3 levels. There's the Krew level, the Neo Pioneer level, and the Krew Chief level. So you just pick the levels. The Neo Pioneer is medium, it's like $8 a month, and then the Krew Chief is like $30 a month, I think. Good morning, says Cat W and Mark Chase. Shalom from the road in Nevada, headed east. We'll have a safe trip, Mark. Spelling and big thumbs. Yes, I still make soap, and thanks. Yeah, if you want really natural soap, check out her YouTube channel. We're spreading sand to make a beach area at the pond. Talk about sore. I want to spread some sand to do a walkway in the garden also. Anthony Jensen got more food from volunteer squash this year than everything else. That's awesome, though, because squash is a lot of food. And I've got one growing that I planted. I planted, what do you call it? Butternut squash in here in several places, knowing full well that those stinking ducks would probably find the seed and eat it. And sure as shooting, they got all but one. And this one is at the base of a blackberry bush. Because they don't really like to go in there. They can get like punctures in their feet, so they don't go in there. And it came up recently, so I've been watering it. It doesn't have any fruit on it yet, but I'm still hopeful. I make an ointment for my back, knee, and elbow. Special ingredient is cannabis. Okay, I'm not in the cannabis realm. I know it's legal here, oils and things. But I forgot to mention, I do use liniment on my back. And people are like, what is liniment? It's like icy hot, but it's sold in a farm store for animals. And I figure if a horse liniment, you know, a horse is a big animal, big muscles. It must be pretty strong. And so I buy the liniment for horses. And the main ingredient in the one I have is peppermint oil, which I thought was interesting. But they're pretty strong, and it doesn't even matter the company. That's what I use on my sore muscles. Last night, because we were putting up the goat fencing, and there was an area that was really, really quite steep, and walking up it strained my left leg. And so last night I stood up, and it was cramping so bad, I almost couldn't stand up. And so very quickly, I drank a lot of water. I ate a lot of banana chips for the potassium, and I put that liniment on it. And thank goodness last night while I was sleeping, it didn't cramp. And today it's way more normal. So I have had good results with it. Spooky Lake admin. I canned food from the garden for the first time this year. God is good. Oh, congratulations. Did you water bath can or pressure can? It healed my tennis elbow when nothing else worked. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any experience with it, but if it works, it works. I mean, I'm all about stuff working. Have you been dehydrating this year? Yes, Christy, I have. And again, because we weren't here, I didn't do near as much. I did herbs and I did some greens, and I need to do more herbs. I have some basil plants that I want to put the whole plant in there, and they're starting to dry up, so I need to do it soon. And they've also gone to seed. Moonshine, good morning. Good morning to you. Speaking of gardens, I have 2 volunteer pumpkin vines that have produced 9 decent sized pumpkins so far. I'm going to make those into pumpkin butter. Oh, that sounds delicious. I love volunteer plants. I love using the kind of seeds for the fruit that will, if you just like leave some of it at the end of the garden, that's where your volunteers will come up, or in your compost pile. Because I have friends, and I've had it happen too, where you throw all this, you know, vegetable stuff in your compost pile and volunteer plants come out of that. We had some volunteer spaghetti squash this year that grew on the pond dam. They did amazing and are still producing. So pond dams are also good according to, oh, I can't remember the guy, the one who did Back to Eden gardening would plant his potatoes near his pond dam, and they would do very well. Pond water's a good, what do you call it? Fertilizer. Shalom, good morning, Sister Kate. Hey, Prepared Homestead, Brother Travis. Did you go to the Ozarks Homesteading Expo? Someone that I know, I guess, who lives in the area, texted me and said, they wore one of our shirts, Going Noah, to that Homesteading Expo. And people kept walking up and saying, is PJ and SK here? And it's like, nope. I don't even know if we got a notice for it. But I heard Joel Salatin was there and spoke, and, you know, it was 30 different sessions or something, and just a really big event this year. I hate cameras. My picture scares me. There's Justin Ridlin. So, hey, Justin, shalom. Justin and I met on a Refuge Medical in Mayfair, Kentucky, I think, right? And if you're on Instagram, I did another short on Instagram. They call them reels over there, based on some lightning a picture, a little video of lightning that Justin put up. And it was, over here and over there and over here and over there. It was a really well done video. And I was like, oh, I got to do this thing. I had never, I think they call it remixing, where you take part of someone else's reel and you make a reel out of it. And so I put Bach's Toccata Fugue in D minor music to the lightning video, and it, in my mind, it's like it's not perfectly matched up. It's not like Disney matched up, but it's so close that it just went. It just went, and and that one's been kind of popular there too. Not as popular as some of the other ones, but I like watching it. Like every once in a while, I'll click on it and be like, just in that moment, 20 seconds or however long it is. And it all started with him posting that. And then, excuse me, I think it was Wes S. maybe, did another video of lightning that was so similar. I was like, wow. So there are certain times at night when there's a thunderstorm that you can make the video of the lightning flashing, and it looks like a dark foreground, and then this lightning lighting up the sky. It's really cool. I really dig it. There, windmill. That's it. That's right. Shalom, Travis, from a long time. Oh, Prepared Home subscriber, David. Nice. I have not had back problems for the last 20 years. I use an inverter table at 20 degrees. Lee, 85. That's great. We have one. One of the Shofarians has one of those tables if we ever need it. I really enjoyed the live he made with SK. Well, nice. Good morning, Sister Kate, says Lamb Keeper. Lamb Keeper has a new book out called Eyes of Grace, and it's from the same publisher, Deborah Publishing, Sister Sarah. She said it's it's a novel. It's a very good one, very exciting. It's now on sale at Amazon. I actually looked it up, and it's at Deborah. And I ordered a copy because quid pro quo, Lamp Keeper ordered a copy of my little Homestead hints book. And I told her, I could do no less, darling. I mean, if you're going to scratch my back, I should be scratching your back. That's the way I looked at it. And I'm curious because I'm trying to write a novel, and so I want to see more about it. So welcome. Anytime YouTube adds a new feature, if you use it, you will be promoted more by YouTube. I did not know that. Well, I'm enjoying the shorts because I've got 3 now that are over 1,000 views, and one of them's over 3,000 views. And then I was going to talk about the latest one that I did here on Instagram, not here, but online on Instagram. Shalom, and howdy y'all, Bear Engine 1. At the Prepared Homestead, one of these days I'm going to make it to one of your meetings, just kind of busy around here. Do go. They're very good. And he and his wife are nice people. Oh, and by the way, the Prepared Homestead, Westhold Forge is a blacksmith. So if you wanted a blacksmith as one of your guests, he would be a good speaker too. He's really funny. I watch shorts at night, and before I know it, an hour has passed. Me too. I relax. Old farmers around here have been using stuff for the farm store for years. That's right, they have, because they know. Just like the Scarlet spray, Scarlex, Blue Coat. I cut my knee a couple years ago falling here on the rocks, and I used that spray that's for animals. It's like a liquid bandage, and it's anti-germ and everything, and I sprayed it on this thing where I should have had a couple of stitches, and it healed it up. So yeah, farm stuff works. I use a mix of clippings, wood chips, sawdust, and wood shavings as walkway mulch, and just grass clipping as mulch around the place. Wood chips, sawdust, and wood shavings as walkway mulch. Okay, interesting. I think I'm way behind on these things. Shalom, Lone Star Living Channel. Work calls. I'll be right back. I feed the guts of my pumpkins to my chickens and ducks. Excellent idea. Magnesium deficiency can cause cramps. Also, most of the population is deficient and doesn't know it. It's one of the most vital minerals for all body functions. We had so much rain this summer, our garden didn't do well, but plenty of volunteer tomatoes. Excellent. I have used Coates horse liniment. Excellent. No, unfortunately, we didn't make it. We had planned on going, but I had something come up at the last minute. Okay. Well, and I also heard, and I'm not saying it's not worth it, that it was $40 a person for the 2 days. So that's $20 a day just to get in, which for some people is kind of pricey. But I mean, if you two showed up, you'd probably get the what do you call it? Celebrity treatment. Shalom, SK and Krew says D Neck, longtime channel member. Oh, Palmetto has an inversion chair too. Well, have you been using it? Don't use an inverter if you have a hiatal hernia. Yeshua follower. All right. Yeshua follower got my book. I hope you liked it. I hope it was in some way helpful to you. And thank you. Lampreaker's book from what's read so far is great. Firefly Homestead. Good morning. Read your book. Very helpful. We are just setting our homestead. Heard about you from your video with Travis on Prepared Homestead. So Firefly Homestead, welcome to the live stream. And thank you that you watched it and that you got my book. And I hope you're saying it is helpful, right? Very helpful. Good. That is the whole intent of that book, is to be helpful. Well, I thumbed up and I've been listening, so might as well say hello. So C103. So C103, longtime channel subscriber, member, all around good guy, friendly, knowledgeable. He is the person who gave us some boards to make a little bridge so I could go across to my coop because there's like a runoff ditch thing there. I thought that was super, super thoughtful of him. He's just a really, really nice fella. Tried out buckwheat. Excellent growth potential. May consider for your all's pasture. Okay, well, think about it. Scotty John. Shalom, Sister Kate and Krew. And Scotty John is a homesteader / farmer. A lot of knowledge about the crops and the animals. Let's Start Living Blue Coat is great. It has gone up in price. I think because they're getting big speakers. We are hoping to do our expo next year. Well, awesome. That would be really cool. Trying and doing. Go shalom. And now I'm caught up. So let me tell you, I would like to tell you here. The latest short is just a video of 2 trucks. One of them is stuck and the other one is pulling it out with a chain. And the 2 trucks are just very normal, nothing special, nothing huge, lifted, expensive, nothing like that. And the one got stuck in an area of our property that has caught so many 2-wheel drive trucks. And it's just part of a driveway, and it's the downhill side, and it's grassy, and it looks normal. But whenever it rains, it gets really soft there. And it's just a natural inclination when you're on this part of our road to, if you need to back up, to pull down, put your nose down hill, and then try to back your back end around and head up and go out. And because the ground is really soft, but it doesn't look it, so many trucks, I'd say at least 10, have nosed down into that area and their front tires sink in, and because it's 2-wheel drive, they don't have enough oomph to get back up because it's a pretty good angle. It's like the angle in here. I'd say it's at least 30-degree angle on the mountain. Lone Star Living says, I saw that one. I think I commented. I think you did too. And hopefully I said, yep. I sunk a truck into sand before because it was covered with grass. Exactly. And so they'll gun the truck and be trying to get it to get some catch, and because the ground is soft, it won't. And so inevitably what happens is we have to pull their trucks out with whatever truck we have, whatever 4-wheel drive is sitting around, the tractor, our pickup, pickups we had a water pickup here that we bought at an auction that was just a horrible vehicle, but it was lifted and had 4-wheel drive. And so it often was the thing. We even used to keep the towing stuff in the back, pull them out. So in this particular video, it was one step beyond. because the two-wheel drive truck is the red one. It had gone downhill thinking it was going to back up, or parked down there or something, and had gone over a stump. So now just even trying to maneuver the front wheels, the one wheel was right against that stump and it could not get over it. And so what the other truck had to do, and it's in part of a video I took, because I was just sitting there in the Terex. I forget why I was there, but I was like, okay, let's just take video of this very normal thing happening. And a part that got cut was that one truck, the silverish truck, pulling that other truck sideways up the hill like this to get it off that stump. And then once it was clear of that stump, then they could pull it out, diagonally away. And that's what the little clip is about. It's just he's got him, he's pulling him up, and then one of them put the brakes on. I think it might have been the red truck, and it went clunk, and then it happened again, clunk, and that's what the video is. In my mind, that's not a very exciting short video. It's just not. But the shorts video, they're better if they have a kind of point that you can make in the 10 seconds or the 6 seconds or the 2 minutes that you do that video. And I thought that right there was the most dramatic point. So that's the point I captured. And I just got a notice from Instagram because it does this thing. It shows you your video and it says, oh, you got so many views. That's a good job. Do you want to make another reel, or you think you'll get more views or whatever on it? And so, I'm casually, every once in a while I check. It's hard for me to figure out how many views are on an Instagram reel. It's not a straightforward process to me. And it said there were 954 views on that short video, that reel. And I was astounded because I thought, that is just so everyday. It's just so everyday. And I don't know. I was really pleased by it. And I'm kind of pleased and surprised that my shorts have been getting pretty good responses on them. And it's encouraging too. It's encouraging, and it's encouraging when the regular videos get more than like 300 views. I really get excited about what I'm doing when that happens. All right, there is Grandma Ginger's Farm. She is such a good subscriber, and she's always so positive and helpful, and she hardly ever makes it to the live. So welcome. I'm glad you got to make it. That's great, says Lone Star. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about it too. And thanks for the shout out. I hope you enjoy it. I do too. Lamp Keeper. I like I said, I'm writing a novel too. I've read thousands of novels, but to formulate how I want mine to happen, it's not like I have writer's block, but I do kind of have writer's block because I know what I want the plot to be, but I have to be able to get the characters to where I want them. Anyway, I hope to get inspired by your book, and that'll help me move more forward on mine. I've noticed a trick some YouTubers use with their shorts. The video starts a few seconds in and the beginning is placed at the end. I guess you get an extra view from each person when it wraps around. Huh. Interesting. I hadn't thought about that. I think I have noticed that also. It's like a lead-in almost. Like you get caught by the idea that's part of the way in, and you sort of expect the beginning to be matching up, but you don't find out that it does until the end of it. The other thing about the shorts is I like having the thought condensed that way without, it's like stripped down. It's like a stripped down idea. It's like a joke. You get in a joke, it's usually kind of short and you get the punchline pretty quickly and it's all condensed. That's one thing I really like about it. This is probably boring you guys to death talking about this stuff. Shalom, Sister Kate. Thanks for what you and PJ do. Ashley Homestead. I just think y'all's channel names are so cute and so creative. I love that. Just right. You can fill in the blanks later, says Lamp-Keeper. It's a good suggestion. Instagram is weird. My reel with the most views is about vertical gardening, where I simply show our potato pile. Right? I think my very first one was just a little thing on sweet potatoes. It's really short, and that had a pretty good amount of views when it came out too. Sometimes it's the music that you pick in the background. Sometimes people like hearing that. Like I like hearing the music on the one about the thunderstorm. Oh, and Justin, if you're still on here, did you know all that stuff about that reel? And what were you doing when you posted it? You just liked the visual? Jensen family, my shorts have been getting between 10 and 5,700 views. 5,700 is a lot. 5,700 is great. I wonder if I've watched them or if they've even come up in my reel, because you watch the reels that are suggested to you. But if it's about homesteading or farming or gardening, I usually give it a thumbs up. I don't have any idea how the views work on YouTube. I have a video with 100,000K, but the rest averages 300 to 400. I know. Is that the one where you're in your garden? Which one is the 100,000K one? The thing about shorts is, if you're not monetized, then I don't know if it would do any ad revenue for you, but if you are monetized, they make ad revenue for you according to how popular they are, but it's not as much as a regular video. It's a smaller amount. And so having more shorts out there is probably the way to get better revenue if you want to do it for that. I like the artistic side of it. I like creating something that gets a message across in a short amount of time. And with the ones like the boiling pot of water, where it made that beat, I just like the beat. Like, I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. Do, 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 do. So every once in a while, I watch it too, because it takes me back to, so it's kind of, yeah. My highest viewed video is just me tamping dirt. See? There's got to be something about just capturing that moment. Like tamping dirt is something we all do. And like hoeing in your garden is something we all do. You know what I mean? It's probably the universality of it. The one forging at Bodkin Arrowhead is the big one. Oh. Well, let's face it, Westhold. Beating metal with like fire in the background is pretty cool. I'm going to have to go back and watch it. JC Fixer just jumped on. Great to see you, Sis Gate. Say hello to the pastor. Shalom. Palmetto, my best video is 28,245. That's awesome. And it's still the one I made at the Bob exercise when I first met y'all. I remember that video. That was a good video. At a fun time. I have a video about rye neck that has crazy views, but it does seem shorts that are basic do well. I'm not monetized, just do it for my husband. Actually, he wants me to. So Pharma, I wasn't that thrilled about monetizing either when I got started. I was actually afraid. I was like, oh my gosh, nobody's going to want to watch. At that time, a religious woman with her head covered, living out in this, right? I mean, who is going to relate to that? Nobody. So, it took a long time. And the other thing is, and my husband was right, like my videos were very unprofessional. They were very rough. But that's the way I learned how to do things. Like, I was thinking about that today with this gimbal. This, is just to make the videos a little bit better so they're not shaky, because people don't like shaky videos. Okay, that makes some sense. And he told me that a while ago, and I didn't want to carry around a tripod, even though I'm using one right now. I didn't want to carry a tripod around all the time. I was very busy, and I still am, doing lots of outdoorsy things, like using a chainsaw and moving goats around and fence and gardening and all sorts of stuff. And so I just kept doing these very basic, rough videos. And I got very little views. The Prepared Homestead night, Travis and I were talking about this on that live stream. Like, it's discouraging when you don't know what you're doing and you're not getting many views. And it took years for me to get beyond that. What was the point? Oh, the monetizing, right. So, but my husband kept saying, well, you should monetize. Like, let's make more money for us, for our community, and for what we're doing and everything. And the pressure of that was just really like, but I don't want to have pressure on me because I was a housewife. Like, being under the thumb of somebody for money is kind of like, I don't know if I like that. But just by sticking it out, and the fact that you've got some videos that have a lot of views, YouTube lets you know when you've crossed that threshold. Can you guys hear me with these guys in the background? I can put my mic on. YouTube lets you know when you've crossed that threshold, and so it's not as difficult as you would think it is. Like, you do have to give them some kind of like bank account, and they put 10 cents in it, and then you tell them that you saw it, and there's a little bit of coordinating with YouTube, but once you're through that, it's pretty simple. And so, yeah, why not give it a try if you've got the note. Oh, thanks, Macco. I used a vise in the shop to hold my phone to film. Use what you got. Man, and the vise is probably better than these tripods. They blow over, and they're temperamental, and they're not made well, and they don't last that long, and that vise is excellent. Winter Night. Speaking of novels, do you have any good recommendations? Something a bit lighthearted to compensate the stress of watching too many prepper YouTube videos. I haven't read a novel in a really long time. What I've been doing is reading, I'm reading The Prince of India. That's a really old one. And I can't even remember Lee something. It's the same guy who wrote the movie Ben-Hur, this is all very old school, David. I don't know if this is going to ring a bell with you at all. But it's an interesting look at the fall of Constantinople. And it's totally fictionalized because I know enough facts about it to know that he romanticized the whole story. But I'm reading that right now. And I read a book, oh my gosh, I can't remember the titles. The White War was about the war in Italy against Austria in World War II. And or may have even been World War One. Might have been World War One. It was World War One. I read it mainly because I wanted to hear about the winter of 1916 when 30 feet of snow fell in the Alps and a bunch of soldiers got buried and frozen. That is why I read it, but there was a lot about the politics of what was going on to get Italy into the war and then what happened during the war. And then I read another book recently, and when I say recently, it's, last couple of years, about downed American pilots in, I think it was Romania or Yugoslavia. Every time I say it, the right country says, nope, it was not Romania, it was Yugoslavia. And they say, no, it wasn't Yugoslavia, it was Romania. No, it wasn't, it was Slovenia. That was also during World War II, but those are nonfiction books, so I'm not that helpful, but Prince of India is the one I'm reading right now, and I'm almost done with it. So let's see what else. Oh yeah, if any of you are ham operators, the Greek Homestead needs information on ham radios. Scotty John, I don't like having to make content. I do better when it's what I want when I do, right? What I hear is perfect. I can hear you. Good. The tips you all gave on the video with the repaired homestead was great. I'm out of my element and need all the tips and tricks as possible as we are starting to homestead in our early 60s. Woo, lady or man, that is a lot. You do need it. You need it because so much of homesteading, you can do it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to discourage you in any way. You can do it, but so much of it is physical that the tips and tricks are going to be what help you to do the homestead. And so my advice to you right now, you haven't asked for it. One of my kids told me you need to stop giving people advice that they didn't ask you for. But I'm interpreting that you are open to it is do as much of what you need to do using mechanical help. Mow your lawn with a lawnmower. Don't try to get out there and scythe it. Hire people to do things like put up your fencing. Don't go out there and pound all those poles yourself unless you're in great shape and you want to do it. And hopefully the homestead that you bought already had stuff on it. That is my advice to people who don't know what they're doing or are older. Cut time from having to start with this bare soil by getting a homestead that already has the fence, the garden plot, the house on it, has a well already dug on it. Try to get, with what money you have, all of that up front and take it easy on yourself. It's still going to be great and you're still going to do the things you want, but just know when you're in your 60s, you can't do everything. As a matter of fact, this live stream started talking about stuff like that with Palmetto Paratrooper, that his back just gave out, and he's younger than we are. So you gotta take it slow and easy. And we bought a tractor. We brought that Terex because I used to walk around on this land. When we first got here, we didn't have any of that. We didn't have an ATV. And so I used to walk up and down the hills here every day. And I lost a lot of weight and I got strong doing it, but it's kind of tough. And I don't know what your homestead looks like or where it is, if it's flat, if it's mountainous, if it's hilly, if it's, in low ground. So that's my advice just right off the bat. Let's see. Good comments. TC of mine, Our Little Homestead. A couple of good books, The Mountain Between Us by Charles Martin and West with Giraffes by Linda Rutledge. There you go. I think The Mountain Between Us is the book that the movie with Idris Elba and, what's the actress from Titanic? Can't think of her name right now. Did a movie. It was pretty good. Grandma Ginger's Farm. I related to that. I actually lived there. Some of the forts built in the Alps during World War I. That's really cool, Winter Night. Have you gone up there and checked it around? Because I read somewhere that there are caves up there that, because I believe the temperature is returning back to what it was normal for in 1916 before that huge snowfall, that the caves and things are defrosting, and you can see like all the things that those soldiers had up there, their uniforms, their leather knapsacks, their writing utensils, their lamps and everything frozen in those caves. Man, what a fascinating thing. Yes, thank you. I'm going to just say TCOMOLH. Thank you for those suggestions. Machines are your best friend, said Mad Cow. I'm only 38, but I haven't been very kind to myself my entire life. And now it's time to be kind. Now that you're getting up there like we are, be kind to yourself. When I'm feeling discouraged, I go back and rewatch yours and the pastor's videos all the time. Sets me straight again. Oh, well, that's cool. I'm glad it's helpful. We started with bare land in 2015, got all the fences in, house built and solar installed, water systems in place. Then in 2021, we sold it and started over on bare land. Oh my gosh. Well, I hope you made money when you did that. That's a lot of work. Good morning, Sister Kate. Have you had enough summer yet? I'm over it. You all have had so much hot weather. I don't know how y'all stand it. I could not stand it. It was hot here and we were getting very cranky. I like getting a picture of the ducks in the water. There's hardly any water in there because we haven't had rain in a while, and so I'm shortchanging them. Normally I fill that tub up, but it's like, look, we got to make this water last. I wouldn't say I'm over summer itself, but I am certainly over the hot water. Thank you. We will buy a tractor and side-by-sides. We have a Cub Cadet mower. It's hilly. Nerd 2. We will buy a tractor and side-by-sides. That's not exactly what I'm saying. I'm just saying if you think you need to, then do it. If you want to go out there and break ground with your bare hands, okie doke. But if you don't want to spend the time and effort doing that, and you can afford a tractor and a side-by-side, do it. How much land do you have? Kate Winslet, that's right. Rob Painless, you got it. Need to plant fruit trees and garden in Ava, Missouri. Ava's a very pretty area. Yeah. Lovely. Sorry for the typos. The only thing I like about the constant 100+ degrees was it ran the ticks out of the yard and back into the tree canopy. Well, if you have a flock of birds like these guys, chickens or ducks, or guinea hens, they will eat the ticks right around the house. We will get a side-by-side. Well, there you go. Enjoy it. I enjoy mine. It really is a comfortable ride, and everyone I take around in it says, oh, I got to get me one of these. But I spent 11 years walking this property, and then I guess that's not accurate. We've had that ATV for a little while too, and we did start using the ATV more. So maybe 6 years I walked around the property. Let's see. We bought an acre in 2014, lived in a tent until 2017, trying to get a position where we could build a house. Had to leave to take care of a family issue, trying to build again this coming year. Well, good luck with it. And you can be self-sufficient on an acre. 82 acres with hay and half timber. Wow. Yeah, definitely get a side-by-side. Yes, if you think you need a tractor, get one. 82 is a half mile long. I think at 40 acres is a quarter mile. So yeah, if you think you need it, do it. My brother. So Rob, I don't know enough about, I haven't watched your videos and stuff. I know you're outdoorsy. I know you like to go hunting. I know you like horseback riding. And you're hanging out with this crazy dude who used to have mutton chops, and now he looks like he's got a full beard, who looks very Texan now. Do you still work, or are you retired? We got a Kawasaki mule that can seat 3 to 6. That's a big one. The back seat folds up and the dump bed doubles in size. Wow, they're great. It was our first major farm purchase. Now, I would like to address that a little bit. Because you have a YouTube channel, just like us, I don't know if there's a monetary amount on it or not. If you become an LLC, and then there's one other after that, I can't remember the name of that. It's some sort of corporation. You become a corporation after that. Your farm purchases, because they are part of your videos for your channel, become business write-offs. However that works, if you know what I'm saying. Like, you can claim things for your farm if it's part of your YouTube channel, and if you have the LLC and the S Corp. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm trying to get my son and daughter-in-law at I'm trying to get them to do the same thing, just so that, like, buying hay for your animals, vet bills for your animals, all that can become business expenses, and you don't have to pay what your normal income percentage for your taxes is. That's a little gem of advice there. Spent 8 years working on 1.6 acres. Now I'm on 3.8, but I miss all my fruit trees and bushes. Well, of course you do, because you had a bunch and they produced well. We have a well with electricity and a 900 square foot cabin. We are retired. There you go. Yep. He don't sound very Texan. No, I still work. I have an electrical business, mostly feedlot, grain elevators, a fertilizer plant, grocery store chain. Wow. Well, you're a very knowledgeable person. You have to be making a decent amount of money before itemizing like that is worth it. I don't even know, Palmetto. I don't even know. Ask your accountant about it. I'm no expert. I really am not. I just Just threw it out there for you all. I thought if you use it for personal use, you couldn't write it off. It's not. Again, talk to your accountant or an accountant about it. If it's purely personal use, then no. If it's related to your channel and your S-score, then yes. But I don't want to talk about that anymore because I'm not an expert. It's just general information I'm throwing out there. And you need to talk to someone who knows for sure, especially in your state. Do you have a way to let us know when you go live? I do. I put it on the community page of my channel, and I put it on my Instagram page. And I will let you know that I usually only give 5 minutes warning because I'm not someone who can schedule. I can't do this thing like every night at 8 o'clock. I just have too much to do. So I put it on the community page and on Instagram, and it says live at 5. Also, our formerly mutton chopped friend mentions you often fondly looks forward to seeing y'all again. Well, cool. I think the perfect experience would be to be able to go to a pub, maybe have a beer, and have some fish and chips somewhere. I think that would be a really cool experience. I guess meeting in the middle might be a way to do things. Maybe in Oklahoma, something like that. I don't know. I have to think about it. Sorry, I related to your early vids with the religious head covering Homestead woman. Don't be sorry, Grandma Ginger's farm. I'm glad, and I'm still that woman. I really am still that woman. It's just that my husband wants to see my hair now. And I'm doing what he wants because I am still that religious woman. I think it's a season that if you are feeling your belief that strongly, then you change yourself. But I always knew the reality was there's a certain, when you have a whole support of a community, it's much easier to dress as modestly as I did. And the modest dress was who I was hanging around with at the time and the conviction of the Holy Spirit. But the reality, and I knew there was a reality, when you live here like I do, that is not a practical way to dress. And I didn't show it on the videos or anything, but my clothes got tore up. Skirts got rips and tears because of the brambles. It was too hot in the summertime. And then eventually, like I said, my husband wanted to see my hair again. It's just like, that was a simple thing. I did it almost 10 years. And so that's why I think it's a season thing, but I am still that religious woman. I'll check into it. I hope it's true because I've got ideas. Yeah, go to the experts, talk about things. There he is. Hey, Aid. Just talking about you. Were your ears burning? I want to know your favorite thing about what's your favorite thing about America? What is your favorite thing? He would be all about that. I'll let him know. Well, he's right here, Rob. He probably figured it out. Not that I know where any pubs are. Not a classic English pub. And unfortunately, watching some documentaries, we've seen that a lot of English pubs have closed, have been bought out. The owners have gotten older and they sell it to a younger crowd and they turn the pub into something else, which is a huge loss for British culture. It was so much a part of your neighborhood life, was your local pub. And the warm beers, I'm sorry, it's the only beer I've ever liked. Simple Times. For free, most cities has a SCORE office, SCORE, retired business people who help you for free. Conferences have a small fee and classes on taxes and accounting and laws and labeling. Check it out. Beautifully spoken. A head covering is not commanded by Yahweh, but it could be commanded by your husband, and often you feel convicted. I sat around a fire with Aid. Awesome time. Now Rob's time. I see. It is fun. It would be a fun time to sit around a fire with both of y'all. And I appreciate that you make an effort Great answer about the head covering and modesty. Thanks. Morning, Mike. There is a pub here in Mexican food place. Not very English. Better than nothing, I guess. There's a place in Leavenworth, Kansas. I think they called themselves a town pub, and at least the interior looked very pub-like. And they did serve beer and a good burger. They didn't have fish and chips, or maybe they did, but it wasn't the same kind. I think the quintessential thing would be if Abe knows how to cook the fish and the chips, we might be able to get the flavor that we really need. But I don't know if he can get can you get the kind of flour coating here in the States to make an actual fish and chip? Because the stuff that most people use here, to me, is just not the same stuff. After I get my new forge building built, a pub is on the short list of buildings to add. I think that would be a fantastic idea, except you have to be able to have the beer. So you're going to have to locate that building in a place that does not have blue laws. Just harvested a shirt tail full of jalapenos and sweet banana peppers. Wow. Need to get cracking and get them canned up. Have not delved into the realm of like jalapeno jelly yet, but I'm not opposed to some mild spiciness in my food. I like put horseradish with mustard, not mustard, with ketchup on certain things. Like in the morning when we have some breakfast food like scrambled eggs, I will have that as a side, the ketchup with the horseradish sauce, things like that. I can make fish batter from scratch, but it's been a while. See, I thought you probably could. I would like to know the secret of that too, but you don't have to put it here online. It's going to be invite only, so I can do what I want. Oh, a private one. Okay. All right. I see where you're going with that. Nice. All right. Well, y'all, I'm getting hungry for my breakfast. It's going to be brunch. And I've got other things I need to do today. So I'm going to sign off. But I appreciate everyone who came. I appreciate people who join the channel. I appreciate you all who comment. I appreciate Brother Travis for letting me do a live stream about my book. I'm not even paying attention to politics right now and all the nonsense because we've been talking about the same presidency for 3 years and nothing changes, and so I don't have time for the effort and everything. And I've still got things to do on my homestead, so I'm really double high five to you. Oh, thanks, man. Shalom again, everyone. Have a great day, says the Greek Homestead. If you know anything about ham radio, look her up. I don't know. I think she does have a channel. She's got a few videos and stuff, and give her some advice, y'all. She's trying to delve into that. Think we could do a YouTube channel to help in Texas. We will consult a professional. Shalom, Kat. Thank you for the live stream. Shalom, it was nice visiting. Thanks again for the shout out. You probably like Hatch Green Chili from New Mexico. Oh, ma in ing. Oh, ma in ig. That's probably Greek. I enjoyed my time around the campfire with you. Thanks for the chat. Sorry, I am in Instagram. So Greek Homestead's on Instagram. You can message her there. Cheers, Kate and everyone else. Best regards. Yep, shalom, y'all. Bless y'all. Shalom, shalom. See if I can get this thing to turn off. There you go. Okay.